Definitely not. I started in nursery school, and I was quite satisfied with having a nursery school. But as time passed, there was the need to expand, and this was driven mostly by parents who were looking for where their children who had finished nursery school would go. So from nursery we graduated to primary, and then finally the secondary school. But in all, starting with a proper nursery building, then looking for a proper primary structure, school structure, took time. And the fact that all this is capital intensive slowed down the process. And I can't believe that, and I don't know where the money came from, but from one stage to the other, we've been able to do a lot. And I'm happy with the structures and the standard that we have attained. "40 years ago, the public schools were not as run down as they are today. So, and we had really professional teachers in the public schools. And when they retired, they went ahead and opened private schools. And at that time, most of the private schools were in garages, in shacks, and things like that. So the public schools still had some, they were better because of the infrastructure. But as time went on, the private schools evolved, and we started having proper school buildings that competed favorably with the public schools. And then eventually, when the public schools started running down, the private schools were the foundation of education. They were the ones that held up the quality of education. And we have different categories of private schools now. You have the elitist ones, you have those religious ones, and then you have those who really are out to just make money. So at the end, you find that the private schools have virtually taken over from the public schools, and I think they are doing very well. The immediate environment being Port Harcourt and River State at large. In SITA, we strive to have certain qualities: discipline, order, and excellence. And this has gone out to the environment. Everybody knows that around SITA there has to be discipline. In SITA we like excellence, and our students have gone, and teachers have all gone out to project this image around Port Harcourt. The trainings we've had have impacted not only the students in SITA, but every other child that my staff come in contact with. The children as well have done the same, and I think we've come a long way with projecting these qualities. OMEP, as it is, which is the acronym for Organization for Early Childhood Education, really is an organization that I enjoyed working for. As the secretary, I was opportuned to meet a lot of professors in universities, highly placed educational personnel. And even though we had a membership of male professors, publishers, and the like, the organization was driven by women mostly. We were the foot soldiers kind of, and we worked together. There were about 7 schools involved, and we worked together, and we synchronized the way we dispensed our services. And going to represent Standard Chartered in Singapore was quite an honor, because at that summit 4 women worldwide were honored. And interestingly, one of them she had a humongous spa in India. Very humble woman. So it's not as if she had a PhD, but she was excellent at what she did, and she was the star of the summit. The other woman from Germany was a manufacturer of parts. Then another one just looked at flowers and made jewelry out of them alongside her daughter. And of course, I was representing Africa with SITA. The thing is that all 4 women were experts at whatever they presented, and we were honored in our own right. And at that summit, there was one resource person that I can't forget. She was a woman, and everybody waited for her presentation. She was held in high esteem. In fact, there was so much anticipation, and this was a woman. It challenged everybody. So how do we marry that with the girl child education? For the girl child, you always think that it's either they don't go to school at all because they can do skills acquisition, like go to the roadside hairdresser and learn that skill, or you go into bead making, which I believe will not get the child anywhere. So if those women who attended that summit could aspire to that position, I think if the girl child is given equal opportunities, they will supersede our expectations. Secondly, I have in my school come to realize that the girls always do better in the classroom. Why? Because I think the boys feel they will inherit their father's properties, and so they don't need to go to school. They don't really need to. And if they can do business and then use their father's or their parents' connections, they can go into contracts or something. But the girl knows that she is already disadvantaged, so they excel at what they do. I'm talking about students in my school. Now, for example, I have 2 scholarship students. The boy is not doing well because he feels he can play football, but the girl is doing exceptionally well because she wants to be a lawyer, and I will do everything to encourage that girl. And if we can raise the self-esteem of the girls even when they are in school, make them understand that they have a right to be educated and they can do anything they put their hands to do, then I think it will be easier to erase this stigma that we have about the girl child and put more effort into training them. And there are examples of women presidents who are excelling all over the world. If Director Ngozi Iweala was relegated to the background, she wouldn't be there today. So I think with the role models that I have talked about, we should encourage the girls to say, you can do it. Do not look at your gender. Besides, I don't think the brain matter is gender-based. So everybody should be able to have their education. External examinations. They have performed well because from the onset of their time with us, we set an environment What I mean is, even when we have terminal exams, we have the set up of external the examinations. So when they get into the exam hall for an external examination, there is no difference. They just they are relaxed and take their exams. And then we have dedicated halls for examinations, both internal and external, so they already are aware. There is no nervousness about going into an external examination. Then we also have a policy in CETA that you will not repeat an exam, you will not repeat a class. So what we do, the teachers work hard, the students work hard, because they know that they just have one shot at these external exams. Sometimes we have a bad result when it comes to as we interpret it. If we have maybe 3 A's and a smattering of C's and then majority of B's, we feel that is not a good result. And so all the students strive to have at least 5 A's and 8 A's, and it's been like that. We hardly have a result that has all C's in them. So I think we are doing very well, and they have been taught that it's better to have a one shot at the exam and then excel and go on to university. So I would say we've done exceptionally well. I started that when an elderly lady from my village came to visit me. She came all the way from my village called Akasa in the Niger Delta. She came to my office and came with a delegation and said she has heard that there are nursery schools and that she wanted it in the village. So, but as is my policy, you have to bring something to the table. I don't just do everything, hand out charity like that. So I asked her what they had done, and they said they had built some structures, and they had an enrollment, but they wanted the standard to be as good as in the city, which piqued my interest. So I asked what they wanted. They wanted, surprisingly, they wanted computers. They wanted things that were found in the city, in schools in the city. So I went ahead and furnished them with the computers, furniture, uniforms, proper uniforms to set them apart. It was quite an interesting journey, and for us to, if we had furnished them with all that, it also meant that the standard had to be commensurate with the standard of the teachers. So we asked them to send their teachers, and they stayed with us at our Rumoba site and trained, not just in the classroom but in administration. Some stayed in the admin, some went into the classroom. So they were able to replicate what happens in CETA in the village, which was quite a feat. Then somewhere along the line, some foreigners also got involved, and we were able to supply them with some Montessori materials. We were also able to, a school in Otrupo came and asked us to mentor them. So they came and spent like 3 days with us, the same setup, some in the admin, some in the classroom. And when they got back, they actually asked me to come and visit them because they had made tremendous, progress. Then I also noticed that in the state schools, most of the children sat on floors, just the bare floor. So we sent some furniture to a school in Ahoda, and then there was another school in Uyo that a friend of mine talked about. So we sent them furniture, books, and those ones we did not train and we just furnished them. It has at least for for the children who had been sitting on the bare floor, it gave them some self-esteem because they were able to sit on individual desks. I mean, it is one thing to share a whole long bench, which is really makes you you are lost in the class, but to have an individual desk made a tremendous impact on the children. And till now, the school in my village is doing so well. They have graduated to secondary school, and we have been part of furnishing those schools with imported chairs, because the maintenance of the locally made wooden chairs is quite high, and those chairs will last for the next 25 years. So I think it's been a wonderful journey. No, I would rather not. I think it would be better for us to work solo, so we don't, there won't be a conflict of interest. Oh, I am so proud of the alumni. It has paid off. We expose the children to extracurricular activities, we expose them to intense academic activities and social work. We get them to understand that they are less privileged children, and they empathize with them. So at the end of their 6-year program, they have a holistic education. And then we also have a program called pre-career attachment program, which exposes them to their career choices. So they spend 2 weeks at those the places of interest, and with that they hit the ground running. When they get into university, they don't have time to decide whether they have made a wrong choice or not. So at the end of it all, we find that they are focused, high performance students in universities. I'll give you an example. A student who happened to have been my head boy at one point was in his university in the United States, and they gave him a calculus test, and he felt insulted that it was way below his status. And of course, being a child from Africa, that was something of interest for his professors. And when he thought they had forgotten he was playing tennis, they asked him to come in for his upgraded calculus test. And when he aced it, they called his father to ask where he trained. That was it, high point for me. The father came here, we were all jubilating, and that is just one success story. It cuts across all countries. The children in Nigeria, our students in foreign countries, they are all doing exceptionally well. They are focused, and they come back with success stories. Some are doctors, some are lawyers, engineers, and they will always be my children. So I am so proud of them. Um, 40 years ago, education was a triangle: parents, teachers, and the student. In recent years, the triangle has disappeared. We feel that once we pay fees, the job is left for the school. For parents, I would say when you have a child, you need to dedicate 18 years of your life to that one child. So if you want to have 7 children, it's 18 plus 18 plus 18 of your life to every one of those children. The trend now is that we are not parenting, and it has given the children a lopsided education. So I pray that parents would go back to parenting their children. The school has so many children, but you have your own child and you have your own culture to instill in your child. So when you are looking for a school, you look for the culture of that school that coincides with your own, so that you know what you want out of your child. So for parents, I pray that you will learn to parent your children. For students, life is, these days we are always in a hurry. Every child wants to be a millionaire. It takes hard work. Students should learn to be focused. There are different stratas in life. After your primary school, you go into secondary school. There is no shortcut. You have to make sure that you study and pass those exams, and the baseline is your school certificate. You get it, you can do anything, because from there you can be anything you want. If you want to go into business, you are able to read and write and learn. And then the internet is not always bad, and you lean towards the evil in the internet. On the internet, you have online courses for those who can't go to proper university. So for students, I pray that you'll be focused. For teachers, do not sit on your oars. You have a degree, yes, but you have to learn to better yourself. The world has shrunk, so you can't. There's no excuse about not having money. There's a lot in the world today to better yourself, and for you to be a professional teacher, you need to improve on your self-esteem. And then when I say self-esteem, your spoken English and written English and all that should come to play. And then study your children, study your students, know how they learn. Then you can now adapt to the way they learn, and understanding and absorption will now become so easy. I think if all of us are working together, we will make the next generation a pleasant one.